6 a.m. to up to closing day, before the contractor leaves, make sure that everything is okay. I'm also looking for that volunteer.
And just know that if you contact me, I'm a direct line to these gentlemen, so just know that as well. So a couple of highlights of what's happening. Rayford Road is getting expanded to 6 lanes. We all know that this is a busy area and that these improvements are much needed to help everybody get to where they need to go within their community safely and efficiently. So again, we're expanding to 6 lanes, including a 6-lane bridge over the railroad tracks, and other improvements to help with left-hand turns and help residents get in and out of their subdivisions. A little bit about construction. So pre-construction activities have already started. I'm sure you guys have seen guys out on the road clearing the right-of-way to help prepare for utility relocations and true construction activities. Construction is expected to begin next week.
Where is it going to start? We'll get to that.
So we know that construction is impactful, and we're working to reduce those when and where we can. And we're going to strive to maintain 2 lanes open throughout. I'm sorry? In 2 lanes in each direction.
Thank you.
So, I will also work to keep everybody updated through email updates and our website, periodic updates, and then also as needed. We're striving to keep an open line of communications. So, like I said, just call me anytime, and I'll do my best to assist you.
What is your last name again?
My last name is Wilson, Jackie Wilson.
I have a question. He's going to keep 2 lanes open, going both ways. We only have 2 lanes right here at Rayford, so.
You'll lose that middle lane.
Oh my gosh.
But we'll get
there.
Thanks for coming out.
Of course. No problem. Okay, so actually I think we're there, Matt. Sorry.
I'm Matt Beasley. I work for the county, and I'm responsible for this project. And I know a lot of you here are very interested in it. And I can go and start with the beginning and how we came to the project, but it seems like a big crowd. A lot of people have a lot of questions. So, overview of the project, like Jackie said, we will keep 2 lanes open in both directions. There will be some times when it will go down to 1, but we'll minimize that as much as we can. You will lose that middle turn lane because we're going to use that to fit it all in. The project's going to start next week, and when I say start next week, we've got some land to clear. We've got to mobilize all the contractors that have got to get set up. So when we talk about starting next week, it's really just preliminary mobilization and moving people out to the project site. And it's going to start on the west side of the project. It's going to start near the railroad tracks. We have to clear that land. We have to start putting the beams in for the overpass. And then there's also some drainage box culverts we have to put in, and we're going to run that down to Spring Creek. So right now, all the drainage from the west of this location, almost to the railroad tracks, if y'all know where the big curve is, there's that big undeveloped land. Well, all that drainage from that land sheet flows to the ditches here on Rayford. And that ditch water runs all the way to Sandy Gully, which is east. Well, when we built, a lot of the questions I've gotten is, well, how's this going to affect your drainage? And that's a great question. Number one, the storm sewer we're going to put over the ditch, the open ditch we have right now, is going to hold the capacity of the water runoff more than the ditch can. Not only that, we won't have that water from that development coming into these ditches and these storm sewers, because that water is going to be diverted to Spring Creek down Geneva Road. So drainage for this area is going to improve, at least along Rayford Road. There's been a lot of questions about, I don't know, how many people here have a house that fronts the backyard fronts Rayford Road. So a lot of folks have been calling and asking about that, and that's understandable. There's also been some information that's been incorrect and inaccurate. Right now we have 23 feet from the end of pavement to the end of our right-of-way, which is basically where that fence is. It's y'all's home, or at least there's a utility easement behind that. And there's a lot of people that don't believe that it's 23 feet. And it's certainly when you're driving in your car, it doesn't look 23 feet. It looks like 7 feet. And if you get out and you wheel it and you get a tape measure, it's 23 feet. We're taking 13 feet of that. So the majority of that is going to be closer to those homes that front that road. We've had that right of way. I didn't pull the plat, but that right of way we have there, we didn't have to buy property. So there are some places we bought property to make this project happen. Mainly right there at Fox Run, where we bought all those homes, because we wanted to soften the curve a little bit, and also it was not fair and it was dangerous to have homes that fronted Rayford Road as it is today, much less if you widen it. People having to pull out and back out of the driveways like that. So we are planning to put a guardrail along that segment of the road. That guardrail is not a sound wall. It doesn't do anything to abate noise. All it does is simply keep vehicles from going in, basically into the fence line.
Out of our bedrooms, is that what you're saying?
Out of the backyards, out of your bedrooms, out of your property, that's the goal.
With a metal trail.
Well, there's
And without the ditch. I don't think so.
there's I'm not gonna argue with you on that. I don't know. It depends on the speed of the truck, how they hit the rail, and how they hit the ditch. I mean, really.
With some physics, and with some physics, we know that they can't stop with a small metal trail.
You mean the rail?
Yes, the rail.
Yeah. Well, the rail is designed. Its whole function is to protect cars from going off bridges, right, and trucks and anywhere else where it's dangerous to go past any certain point in the road. I'm not going to sit here and speculate and talk about what ifs about big trucks and how fast they're going, and if they're going to go into your backyard. I don't know. I can't tell you that.
Have you checked the statistics on the amount of accidents that have actually happened there beforehand, even before the ditch was there, and now the ditch isn't going to be there, and I know you're saying you're just going to do something about the water, but now it being so close to that fence line, it's a big deal, because that ditch is what actually stops a lot of things from coming into my backyard. Now, I'm at that very corner when you come in and out, so I hear everything. I'm the first one that calls 911, saves dogs and all of that. So I'm telling you that it's going to be a big deal. It's not just that 13 feet.
Are you putting a cement wall up there, or the one with the post in the middle?
We're putting post and rail. That is to answer your question. I don't know the statistics of the accidents that's happened there. I don't know that I can sit here and tell you that the ditch is better at protecting you than a rail is. What I do know is, if you go to where the curve is by Fox Run and you make the Grand Parkway, we put a ton of rail up there. It's the same situation. Actually, the fences are a lot closer than where they are right now. There's no ditch. Cars have went into those properties over the years. And we put the same rail up. And since we put that rail up, we haven't had any other vehicles that go into those backyards.
Well, you haven't had 2 more lanes either, so this is.
Well, we're talking right there is a big curve, right? It's really hard to negotiate a big curve, especially when these accidents happen. It's usually late at night. Where that property is a straight shot. There's no turning. It's just a straight shot to, I guess it's Imperial Oaks to Lori Land, or just past there.
Yes, but let me just interrupt you there. A few years back, before they dug the ditches even deeper,
we're neighbors. There's a house in between us. He's an older gentleman. One morning I got up, his whole fence is torn. A car had gone up. And that was even before the ditch was digged. So,
Well,
I mean,
I-
I'm just.
My personal opinion, even though that we are widening the road, the guardrail is gonna protect you better than the ditch ever will. That's my belief.
And what I'm believing is that a sound barrier wall is gonna be more protection than a barrier rail. Because
The
you take that out.
traffic is gonna be tremendous there. I mean, you're
That's my
adding
concern.
2 more lanes.
We just built a pool, a Pilates, everything in the backyard. My grandkids, they come and play there. I mean, it's bad enough that we hear stuff already. It's gonna be worse. And now, the fear is that they're gonna be playing right there where the pool is, and the possibility of something happening.
12 feet
is
from
scary.
there.
Well, I understand, I really do, and, the county's never put up a sound wall or a concrete
They put a
wall.
right around the corner, when you go to Riley Fuzzle, there's a wall there. What did that cost?
That was from the state built that. The county has roads, the county basically, as a body, has adopted the fact that if we're within our right of way, which we are, we don't build sound walls. Basically, as the properties have been sold, they've been sold with the property, clearly, if you look into the plat and the records, and the developer even does it, they dedicate the right of way to the county to improve the roads as the roads get, as the need comes. So the county's basically just building within its own property. We're in that segment, we haven't bought any more property than we've always had. It's just closer to the property that you bought next to the road.
Yeah, what does that do to the property values?
I don't know.
It's gonna decline.
There's obvious for sale.
There's already several houses right
Well-
there for sale. So, I mean,
I understand, I just, I don't wanna, I'm certainly here to speak truth to y'all. There's no intention to build a sound wall or a concrete wall.
Matt, may I softball something to you here? With there not being an intention, with it coming under budget, you guys did a pretty good job of coming significant. I'm not saying, maybe you just throw it out there like, hey, what would it cost? Just an idea, because it's not a too big of a stretch, but it might be interesting. Just precinct 3 voters might be real happy about.
Yeah, no, and I understand, and I believe the commissioner's intention is he wants to do, he wants to do what's right for the people, his constituents.
And I'm not looking for a commitment. That's what I mean, just a softball.
I don't know what the cost is. I know that, once we put up a sound wall to accommodate the request here, there are plenty of places in the county that have homes a lot closer than this road. And then we'll be building sound walls for everyone that points out, hey, our home is closer than they are. You need to build a sound wall for us.
Perhaps there's a strategic partnership via the Rayford Road Mud. I'm just saying it's worth spitballing with different entities.
I don't have enough knowledge in the cost and the scope of work to put up a wall. I just know that at this point there's no plans to do that. So. Thank you for
just bouncing
bringing
ideas.
That up. I mean, I don't know. We love partnerships. So.
If we invest a little bit, maybe the county.
So what's the process?
This project is basically funded and done.
I'm sorry, sir.
This project is basically funded and done.
This
You're
project
just giving us a heads up.
This project has been in the design for over about 2 years. It was put on the road bond referendum in November, which was passed by the voters. It's designed, and we've already secured 99.9% of the property to build it.
Yeah, so you don't see any major changes. It's done. I mean, you're just giving us the heads up.
I'm coming here because I was invited.
Sure.
And I want to get correct information. Whether or not people would like it to be something other than what it is, I'm here to deliver that message.
Oh, I appreciate it. That's
And
I'm just trying to.
yeah. So you're correct. I'm here to basically talk about what we're about to do.
Right.
Thank
Thank you for that.
I have a question, sir. You said there's 23 feet behind our road here on Rayford Road as spoke with you last week, and you told me that from my fence to where the street begins, we would have 11 feet. But a little while ago, you just said you're taking 13 feet, which to me leaves 10 feet. So
I'm
I've
sorry.
already lost the foot.
I'm sorry, maybe I misstated. You're gonna have 11
I mean,
feet.
even, okay, because,
Yeah.
and personally, I feel like you're depreciating the value of my home by putting a tagging metal guardrail behind my house. Nobody in their right mind would want to now move on my street, knowing the possibility that it's not safe, because I have to have a guardrail up.
We put that rail in, it is a standard TxDOT rail.
It doesn't matter, it's tacky.
I
I've seen it
understand.
on Rayford
I
Road.
understand.
And you're putting it in front of a subdivision where that is the first impression that a buyer's gonna get when they come and look at homes.
I understand, and other communities in the precinct think the same as you. And what they do is they go put whatever guardrail they want, as long as it's approved and it's TxDOT standard rail. You can go to some communities in precinct 3 and you'll see rail that you wish was in your living room. I mean, this is really nice stuff, but the county doesn't do that. If we do something for somebody, we have to think we gotta do it for everyone. We have to have the funding to do that.
But you went from a $60 million expense down to like 26.
Mhm.
Somewhere we got a little gap in there.
Well,
extra money.
26 was just the construction cost. We actually had $16 million for right away. We came in around just under 14 million. We had to pay for engineering. We had to pay for these gentlemen to manage the project. So 26
So
million was just
the
construction.
article you read is different.
No, the article is correct. What we put out there was 38 million for construction. It came in under 26 million.
So that's $12 million we saved,
Yes, ma'am.
and we can't get it fence.
So whose decision was it for the guardrail versus
can't
the
get
sound
a
barrier?
fence.
When was that voted upon? On
The guardrail is what we do for any road project. We don't put, the decision's made by the county. We don't put sound walls out.
So was there ever a sound study done? I know that's been done in the past in regards to.
There's sound studies done when it's a federal project or it's a state project that has federal money attached to it. There's environmental studies. If this were a state or federal project, we would have to do that. It's not, it's a county project, so it has totally different requirements.
Just like on 99 where they put the sound walls in, that's because that's a state project.
So is there a designated process within the county that we can begin initiating to petition whatever request and change from the guardrails to a sound wall?
Here's what I would do. I would email Jackie and she can get it to the commissioner. And he'll make that decision. Basically, you know, if y'all want to email him or even come into somebody's office and talk to him about it. He'll certainly talk to you about it.
Just to see what option, what is necessary.
Right, like he said, maybe if there's a partnership
Maybe a
or, you know,
partnership.
3 or 4 entities put in money for it, perhaps that's something he would entertain. And I would encourage you to do that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
When do you anticipate the actual road work to begin? Because the traffic is already horrendous, so I'd like to prepare myself.
And when we gotta be finished?
The project's gonna take about 20 months. The road work will probably begin in maybe a month and a half, something like that. We still have 20 months, yes ma'am. We still have some property that's, we're trying to get our hands on through eminent domain. The contractor already has an office down here. And they have a lot of work that has to be done that's not on Rayford Road. I think the plan is we're gonna start on the south side of Rayford. We'll start to widen that on the west and come east. And we're gonna do it in segments.
At the track.
What about
Yes.
a question for you? When are they gonna do a bulk of the construction? Is it gonna be in the evening, at night?
They're gonna do construction between 9 and 4 p.m. And that's the majority. There's gonna be sometimes they work on the weekend, there's gonna be sometimes they work early in the morning.
So there'll be still a throughway. One of my neighbors who couldn't make it this evening, she has to leave for work at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and if she's even a minute late, her job is at risk. She's very concerned about, posting on timelines, and is there gonna be communications out to people, signage that says, expect delays on this day, this is where we're starting.
We're gonna send all the traffic control information out. If you sign up for that Rayford.road email, we'll put you on the update list. We're gonna send that out, pump it out through our website. If she's leaving that early in the morning, she doesn't have anything to worry about. This is like 9 to 4 in the afternoon, or 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The times where they do it earlier or on the weekends are going to be little, because the contract actually identifies the work days Monday through Friday, and it excludes holidays. But there are some times where it's better, especially if you go to the west side where you have the businesses and you have the big open land and the curve, and there's no homes there. It's a lot easier for them to get work done sometimes at nighttime when it's cooler, and they can do the actual, the manual labor and things like that early in the morning.
And that brings me to another question. Why can't they go that way? There are no homes that way. Why do they have to come towards the homes? Can't they widen it that way? The opposite way of the homes?
They would probably have to buy dirt if they had to do it that way. They already have to rent it.
Where are you from? On the south side.
Expand it going the other way. Because there's all that open land.
On the south side of the road, not the north side of the road.
Okay, of Rayford, where you live?
Yes. Where all of us live, yes.
Well, we would have to buy land.
Well, then, why can't they do that?
Because they already have this.
Well, we already have the right of way to build there.
I know, but the thing is, there's people living there. There's nothing living there, and you can buy the land.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. But when the road was platted, the county said, this is our road. We only built this, but we can build up to here. All the homes that were built there were built where we said we were going to build the road eventually. So the county would have to say, we're not going to build on land we already have, we're going to go buy more land. And that's, we're trying to build things as affordable as possible. So that's why we didn't do that.
Even if it's affordable, the long-term effect of the affordability for you is shitty for all of us, is what I'm trying to say.
I understand.
And is there any possible way that you could move it back?
No, ma'am.
Why wasn't that even brought up?
That's not possible at this point.
Do you realize that Imperial is the only subdivision that is going to be affected by these?
There were 11 homes that were bought and torn down.
Why can't
There was a car wash that was torn down.
I understand.
There was another home at the curb that was.
One or two homes compared to how many homes are backed up to Rayford?
There was 12 homes, and these people don't have a home anymore. It's not like the road was pushed closer to their home. Their home was purchased and they were moved out and their home was torn down.
I got that part. I can understand that.
That's because we didn't have that right away.
Are backed up to Rayford. How many homes are backed up to Rayford that this is going to affect?
There's a ton over there at Legends Run and Fox Run that are still back up, that are closer to. Look, I'm not here saying that if I were you, that I wouldn't be here saying the same thing. I'm here to just try to tell you what we're going to do in the project. It is going to be closer to your fence, and the county's not going to go buy new land that it doesn't need and change the whole design of the project and relocate all the utilities to save that 10 feet.
Matt?
Is the speed limit gonna stay the same on the road?
The speed limit is going to be 45, which it is now. Yes, sir.
How are you addressing drainage? Is there gonna be new drainage put in with this project? If we get heavy rain, are the
Yeah, so it's going to be curb and gutter. The storm sewer will have more capacity for runoff than the ditches do. And you're going to have less water come in this direction from the west side of the project. So it's our opinion the drainage is going to be much better off the road.
Now, when you said you're gonna add storm drains versus the ditch, and you said it's gonna be more, do you have a definition of more?
The water capacity that can go into the storm sewer is higher than what can go into that open ditch before it goes into the road.
Right. Can you define higher, or
I don't know that off the top of my head. I can get that for you, for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, they run all those drainage calculations, that's no problem.
So why did
The road's gonna be concrete or asphalt?
It's gonna be asphalt.
Is that the right decision for the long term? I mean,
We are right now,
we had this super duper stuff they put out a few years ago that lasted, but it's with the added traffic, it's given way.
Yeah.
so what they
It's still
put,
holding up on the road belt, but it's given way here. Is we gonna do something?
what they put on this road out here is a chip seal. It's a sealant you put on top of the asphalt. And it helps preserve the asphalt road. But what happens, especially when you have vehicles that turn a lot and stop a lot, it tears up that chip seal, and then you have to fill that up. And like if you go to Alding, Westfield, and Rayford, or you go to over there where people are turning, you can see where the wheels are just tearing that stuff up. All that chip seal's gone. We're putting regular asphalt down throughout the whole project. It's going to be type D asphalt. It's quieter than this chip seal is. And throughout the county, like right now, we're putting an asphalt overlay on Tanglebrush Drive over in the woodland in Panther Creek. The asphalt is easier to maintenance. It's easier to put down. And it's
Even with this level of usage,
now this chip seal. I'm not a chip seal guy. I wouldn't put that down. I'd put it down on maybe if I-45 was asphalt. Put it down on there. There's no stopping. There's no turning. People just are high speed. This on here, although it's designed to protect the asphalt, with the use of this road, it's not lasting. We won't have that there.
but the grade you said you're gonna put in, is that gonna?
Type D is good. That's good. That's your standard. That's your standard. Yeah, that's your standard asphalt you'll see throughout the county. You were saying something. I'm sorry.
No, I guess
What's
you.
the name of the road that becomes right by your house? That's gonna go to be a red light there.
Oh, yeah, is there gonna be a light there?
There's going to be a left turn from coming, going eastbound on Rayford. You will be able to make a left turn, and when you're coming out, you'll only be able to make a right.
Excuse me, where was that?
Lori Lynn and Rayford.
What are we gonna do whenever we have someone in our backyard? Are we gonna call the commissioner, to come help?
You can call the county commissioner. What I would recommend is if someone comes into your backyard, I'd call 911.
Yeah.
That's what I would. No, yeah. I mean, call the commissioner. But what I'm saying is, I'm just trying to give you good information. I thought you were
Oh,
asking.
yeah.
Call 911 and then.
I know to call 911.
Okay, well then.
We'll call the commissioner.
I was just trying to answer the question.
If he realized that little barrier, the little rail thing, it ain't gonna work. It's just not.
Yes, ma'am. Please call us and call us. Absolutely.
Do you have any plans to extend some of those streets to go to like 99 or Alden Westfield through some of those other neighborhoods to kind of give another relief or?
So Burnham Woods is going to be widened and Elon's going to be widened.
I'm talking about going south more on that side, like going toward where the Hardy Toll is, that direction. In some of those other older neighborhoods that are back there.
Like Fox Run?
No, like, Spring Hills. Spring Hills, and there's like Forest Village or something like that, where some of those streets go through all those really old neighborhoods. Like some relief so that the neighbors back there have another out and don't have to rely on Rayford. It would just like give some relief.
I see what you're saying. Well, right now, the only street that they can take, they can go out to Lazy Lane and come out to Rayford, which brings them out by the railroad tracks. But there's nowhere.
And there's more this way too, that kind of dead into neighborhoods.
Yeah, they're dead end. They're basically geographically we can't take them. You know, there's either a big creek or drainage ditches and stuff like that, and then there's no roads connected.
From a logistics standpoint, I mean, let's just say you lived here in our POA building, and y'all's office is what, by Orwell, the baseball fields?
Yes, sir.
So maybe that's a 10-minute drive, but once the
depends on what time of day.
Right, but once the construction, I'm just using that as like an estimate. Is there a recommended time? Have y'all looked at any kind of numbers on how that drive might get longer, just for that stretch there?
Like during construction?
Yeah, I didn't know if anybody's actually got an idea. Is it an extra 20 minutes, an extra? No, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate. We don't know that.
I didn't know how detailed these things get.
Right.
Will the turn lanes be similar or the same as you've got from, what, Hannah to 45?
Yes, sir.
The same setup?
So we're gonna have managed turn lanes. Okay. So at Wildrose right now, you know, you have that Kroger Center. Everyone comes out of Kroger's, they take a left, they get hit. We bought that donut store out. That's at Wildrose. We're gonna adjust the intersections where here's where the donut store is. Here's where the east side of that exit to the shopping center is. And it's gonna be a four-way intersection. So people leaving that shopping center can either go to Imperial Oaks Boulevard at the light, or they can come to that light, and that's the only way you can take a left. Everything else is right out. The rest of the project is gonna have, like what I was saying, we call it access management. It's just basically a big median in the street that allows you to take left turns where we say you can take left turns, where we think it's safe. A lot of people are moving away from that center turn lane where it's just open. And all the lights, the traffic signals are going to be, all the span wire, you know, the wire that holds the lights up, they're going to be gone. They're going to have mast arms, you know, big, nice. We're probably going to paint them black and put street lighting that's lit, that has Rayford Road. And it just is going to make, those span wires are a really old way of doing a traffic signal. You see them in older parts of downtowns and things like that. We're going to have big poles, they're going to be black, and we're going to have street signs that are lit up.
You gonna put any more traffic sign, signals in?
I'm sorry?
Traffic lights?
Any more traffic lights?
Yeah, there's one at Wild Rose, there's one at Fox Run.
You gonna put one at Kroger's?
Yeah, that's the one at Wild Rose.
Okay.
Is that one, so that one's gonna move?
We're gonna
the
move
one
that-
by the church there's gonna move over to the west.
You know where that donut store is?
Yes.
We're putting a road through there. And that road is gonna connect to that entrance to that shopping center. So when you're leaving the shopping center, that's where you'll go, and the people that are coming from that neighborhood, they'll have a little curve right there to where they pull up at the light and they can, you know, wave the light, and that's how they'll leave. And that Wild Rose that's there right now, we'll abandon that, and we'll get rid of the asphalt. So it won't be a road.
If you look at Rayford Road and Imperial Oaks, if you take that turn lane away, how do you get into that subdivision? During construction.
Slowly.
Rayford
Yeah.
Road.
Carefully.
You've taken the turn lane away.
Yeah, we'll when we're there, it will be slower. We will have traffic control set up. But like I said, we're doing this thing in segments. It's not going to be, we're shutting down one side of the road for 9 months.
When do you think the bridge will start? Is that toward the end?
Overpass?
Yeah.
That's the first thing we're starting.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
On that overpass, where will it come down on each side? How far will you drag it out down the Rayford?
So if you're going east, you'll get onto the bridge. It starts to elevate right at that car wash. A little west of the car wash. So you'll go over it. I think it goes 32 feet in the air. There's 31, 32 feet. And it actually goes, so if you're going east, the bridge actually kind of goes to your left where that land is. And what you see right now will be frontage access for those businesses. And then you'll touch down right before it comes back to a curve.
Okay.
That design kind of reminded me of 242.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Back to the Wild Rose, redesign, what will happen to the current Wild Rose? The road that is there now, it will be vacant land, but what will?
The county will abandon it, we'll bust up the concrete, and that land will go to the adjacent property owners of that road. Just like any abandoned right of way.
Okay, but it goes all the way back to Greenway, so there's.
So at if you're coming up to that intersection of Green Glade, you're gonna go left, and it's gonna
I
curve.
understand that.
And here's Wild Rose right here, we're just gonna get rid of this. It's gonna be gone.
I understand that.
Okay.
But who gets that part?
Whoever the adjacent property owners are. So they take the road we're abandoning, they go to the center line where the road was platted, If you own land over here, you get that. You own land over here, they get that.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
lucky them.
Yeah, lucky them, yes, ma'am.
The turns at Fox Run, there's two real hard ones before you get to 99. Are they still gonna be the same down here, or 6 lane?
They're gonna be 6 lanes, and if you're going east on Rayford, where we bought those homes at
Yes.
Fox Run, the road's gonna go further out like this. Okay, yeah, so it's gonna be 6 lanes throughout the whole project.
But you go through that turn, but the next one's pretty sharp where they dig the cars out.
Yeah, well, we bought the house right at the corner, and there's a house at the corner. Once you get, so like if you're going east and you make this turn and you're coming to this one, there's a house right there, we bought that.
Okay.
But the rest of the fence line's gonna be there.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
During construction, at times when there's going to be heavy congestion on Rayford, there's going to be a lot of people coming up this boulevard trying to get out on Robinson and trying to get through the other streets that go through down to get back around all the construction. Do you have any plans to put a constable on those intersections to keep traffic moving? Because it backs up all the way to this subdivision sometimes.
Now, the contractor is gonna have police officers and flaggers during the construction. Cars are gonna go where cars are. They feel like it's the easiest way to get somewhere. We're not gonna detour people through your neighborhood. We're not gonna set up and say, go down Richards or Robinson or anything like that. But cars are gonna go, there's an app now that tells you the fastest way to get somewhere, and it may be through somebody's, neighborhood
We
street.
know they're going to try and find the best way that they
Right.
can to get there, but they always end up at a T-junction that's going to cause a backup unless somebody's standing.
Yeah, no,
there.
so if you're talking like on the boulevard, if we find there's a ton of people that are just getting stopped, there's stop signs at a certain time, it's doable to have someone out there to control the traffic and move them down the boulevard. Yes, sir.
What about on Richards?
And
Because
just,
that's what he asked me, the one on the, on the other backside, because I mean, that one goes all the way out sometimes to Woodson.
oh, I see, yeah.
That, is that the one you're
Yeah.
asking about? Yeah, what are they gonna do then?
Yeah,
You
if-
have to stop right there, three-way stop or something. I mean,
If that's something that we have to assign a couple officers out there to do at peak times, and that's something we'll do.
I have one more softball for you. With the number that you had when you came under the actual cost in the first road bond, Oak Ridge North's Robinson Road, and there was that $8 million project. Again, I don't know if there's been any further county or Oak Ridge North conversation. You know what I'm talking about, Robinson Road, and about realigning it to make it one road. One, that's a softball. Hey, bounce that around, and then two, do you know if there's been any headway with that intersection, fourth worst in the county?
We're waiting for the city to determine what the city would like to do with that road through their city.
Okay.
They're still discussing with their citizens.
When you move that light at Wild Rose, what happens to the Methodist church?
Across the street?
Yes.
So the driveway between the Burger King and the Methodist Church, where we're going to put the light and people are going to come out of the shopping center, we bought that. That's actually kind of broken down. And we're going to build the Methodist Church. There's going to be a little driveway, and we're going to put a gate. So the Methodist Church will be able to, when they have their services or whatever, they'll be able to run the cars out to the stoplight, because we're going to close that driveway that they currently have at Wild Rose at that signal. So we have to replace that driveway with a driveway that comes out to the signal. You're welcome.
Down the middle, right past the Methodist church where you go and so many people turn left on Aldine Westfield there. And right there in the middle of the little gully, there's guardrails. Well, all of that could change because boy, that's a major factor too. There's not a lot of room to turn there. Will all of that be cleared out?
You're talking about extending that left turn lane on Aldine Westfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually going to widen the bridges on both sides. We've talked about, adding that to the contract, and we're still talking about it. We recognize that there's vehicles that back up there and they get into the main lanes, but right now we haven't determined where to do that.
South Hollow Lane is a problem for me. You know where that is? Let me show it to you. one right here, there's no turn here. So on a 2-lane highway, they come up here and they stop, and they back up everybody here because there's no turn lane. So when you do the improvement, you gonna shut this off?
You know, I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't know.
Real problem.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'll get your info and I'll get back with you on that. Yes, ma'am.
Did y'all decide to do a stoplight at not Legends Ranch, but the next one, is it Canyon?
So Legends Ranch is another one we're gonna realign where the stoplight is. It doesn't make sense. It only allows for, you know, it's like kind of barely functions as an intersection. So we're gonna move that. It's gonna be 4 ways. So that light's gonna stay there. They're gonna have one at Foxtrot.
Oh, okay, and that'll include that other subdivision where they can get out, the ones that are on the other side of the road? Is that?
Anywhere where we don't have a light, they're gonna have to go right.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Same time. But the Burnham Woods that we're gonna build, it's out of the road. You know, they'll do the construction and won't affect traffic where it is now.
It would be nice if it was done beforehand so that you don't have multiple ways in and out of the neighborhood tied up at the same time.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that it won't be, it would be the same. I mean, people are gonna be on basically on the grass building the road, they're not gonna be affecting traffic.
What I'm saying is, it's not gonna be done in time to take the diverted traffic.
Oh, I see what you, yeah, so we couldn't do it because we didn't have the funds, and then when the project came low, like it did, it gave us the funds to actually build that. I totally see what you're saying now, yes, ma'am.
If you come out on Spring Forest, so you're only gonna be able to turn which way?
Right.
Only be able to turn right.
Yeah, I can't remember if there's a light there, I don't think there is.
No, it's a
Yeah,
Wild Road.
you'll have to go right, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you have to go to Wild Road if you wanna go either way. Okay.
Or I think you can take the back street over, it will then go to Geneva?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so you have to go right.
You may have already covered this, I apologize, and like, what about Robinson Road?
That's what we were just talking about, are you talking about?
Backside? No, on the backside of the.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't have any funding right now to do anything to Robinson Road.
What's the plan for lighting with the new road?
There'll be street lights at the intersections.
What's the total time for this project?
20 months.
Given, you know, it's 20 months dependent on weather
Right, sure.
and, you know, other things like that.
It could come in a lot earlier, it could come in later, I mean.
All right, so what's this email I can prescribe to or subscribe to updates? What's the email address?
We got that back there on that table.
Okay.
It's rayford.road@mctx.org.
I have a card for you too, sir, so that way
Okay,
you don't have to write it down.
That has some imagery of the overall project
Yeah,
look.
it has a schematic on it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Will there be a shoulder so that people can walk or ride bicycles? It's very, very dangerous for people riding bicycles now. The whole traffic right there just stops.
There's not going to be a sidewalk.
Is there a shoulder?
There's not going to be a shelter. It's going to be like it is today.
Get a lot of ambulances ready because we already have it. Very dangerous.
Yes, ma'am.
That's poor planning, very poor planning.
Yes, ma'am. He had another engagement he had to go to. He already had it planned.
Say that we can meet with him here another time.
Yeah, sure, we can work that out. You can, and just if y'all would like to do it at your house or come by the office or whatever.
I think it would be better here, so everybody can meet here.
Okay.
We can fit more people here.
Sure.
Maybe there'll be more people.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Is it a safe assumption then that the signal programming will be readdressed?
Yes, sir. It's all gonna be new, it's gonna be brand new signals, like I said, mast arm signal heads, it's gonna be radar.
Reading.
So now, right now, we have cameras that they're old, we're gonna have radar, it's gonna pick up cars, and we're gonna retime the whole corridor. Yes, sir.
Have we talked about what do you call it in the middle of the median?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I read something about improved
Yeah,
median.
it's access management, it's basically gonna be a median in the road that we basically determine where people make laps at.
Is that kind of like towards Rayford, towards 45, the way
Yeah,
that?
but it's gonna be a different type of median.
It looked different.
Yeah,
I couldn't really wrap my head around what.
What we did right there was done in-house with our guys, our concrete guys.
It's supposed to be prettier or something like.
Well, it's just going to be more uniform and it's going to look different.
Okay.
Maybe more of a state issue at Grand Parkway, but on Rayford East to Grand Parkway South, will there be a turning lane put in when this is widened? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Can I go back to my earlier question? I gave you the wrong street name. I was asking if, see where Imperial Oaks comes down here, all this space here is available. Is there a chance to extend Imperial Oaks to where it accesses in the back, where you have the Hardy Toll Road and 99 here, because there's nothing there that would actually give some relief to some traffic?
I think that land is really, really low. And that brings the cost of building anything there up. So we don't have any plans to do that. But I know exactly where you're talking about that.
Do you know if the power lines are going to be moved or?
Yes, the power lines are going to be moved.
Still over, like just
overhead.
Okay, overhead power.
Yes,
They're gonna vary.
No, sir. Any other questions?
Set up the meeting with the commission.
Yeah, just email Jackie and we'll get something worked out.
And you can at least find out what it would cost to do a wall, or y'all are construction guys, I'm not. And is there a way you can find out that?
I can look into that.
Maybe get three bids at least to know what we're looking
And
at.
are you open to that? Because we are very concerned.
No, I understand. I am here to represent the commissioner and the commissioner's court. They're the ones who make these decisions.
Yes.
So I can be open to a lot of things and it doesn't mean anything.
That's why I call it a softball.
But yeah,
The thing, not you, Montgomery County.
I don't.
What I'm asking.
That I don't know. I can't tell you that they're open to that. I don't know.
Who's head of the construction?
I deal with construction. There's a lot. So like building a wall, or I don't know the dimensions. I don't know what material. I don't know how they could. I know. So it's hard for me to just get a bid and give you a price without first coming up with the scope of what we're going to
I guess
do.
what I'm saying is, I'm gonna try to rephrase this. You guys are the engineers and you're seeing the infrastructure right before your eyes, right? And as that's happening, you're going within budget, you're figuring out how much things are. Whoever's making that decision, can't we find out what it would cost to build a wall? And it's not gonna be all over the place, it's gonna be one stretch area where all those accidents are. If you want information, I can go online and tell you how many accidents have happened in that area. I'm just asking, because I don't know who to call to find out what it would cost to build a wall, because I'm not an engineer or construction person.
Do our engineering folks have an experience with having done that before, and can they swag a cost for a quarter mile or a half a mile of sound wall?
Well, so what I would say is that when y'all meet with the commissioner, or when y'all get an audience with him and y'all talk to him, depending on what he says, we march the beat of his drum. I mean, if he says we're going to build a wall and just get it done, that's what we do. But I can tell you, as someone who's trying to watch the dollars along with the commissioner on the project, we're not going to have a schematic done of a wall that may or may not get built until we have the policymakers say, let's do it. It would be a waste of people's time and resources. And
It's not a waste of time, but we just need to know.
You know what?
well, it does take time to come up with the cost of this.
Right.
And if the people who are approving these things will not do it, then it would be a waste of time to figure out how much it would cost.
And that's
Is
why
all I was saying.
why I was saying earlier, it might be worth communicating to the Rayford Road Mud that there might be value in them partnering, or at least giving some kind of incentive for the county to match. To go back to what you were saying, if you do it here, you might have to do it here, 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 here. Well, to get around that, it might be, well, okay, we put a little bit in, so we're invested in it, but the only way you're going to make that happen is
If you
to
find
let
other
them.
investors. No, I totally understand that, and I'm not.
No, and I'm saying to you specifically, it might be worth going to a mud meeting.
I just don't know how much it's costing. Just
Yeah.
say, hey, this is what it's gonna be.
And I'm not speaking for Matt, I'm just saying you might get more mileage out of going to them and having them
Do the research to find out.
at least express interest from I'm not saying it's going to work, but
You go to the MUD, you go to the HOA, the POA, there's three organizations right there. The subdivision, they usually have a surplus every year also. Take that money and say, okay, here's our skin in the game, county, now, what can you do?
The HOA one, Ohio is not gonna put up any money.
I already talked to them.
There's cars that go down Rayford Road.
Even if they have a separate.
About 2 o'clock in the morning some night, they're probably doing a light,
They barely
120 miles an hour, and they suck the windows out of the back of our house. They're going so fast, okay? And that's what's got the people concerned. We're not worried about the guy running 45 along with his kid to school. That other guy's the guy we're worried about. And if you don't believe it's happening, come over and sit in my backyard.
No, I absolutely understand.
That's a long stretch of road from the S curve all the way to Kroger's.
Yes, sir.
And I guarantee there's been a land speed record right there.
And
is this guardrail NASCAR approved is what I want to know.
That I don't know that.
And that's no joke. Every Saturday night, either the kid on the crotch rock is running 140, and there's another car coming through there, and he wakes you up because the back of the house goes. Because he
Monitor that area Saturday night?
I don't know. Have you ever found a cop when you needed one?
Oh my God.
that's not true. That's not true. We get good.
If you need a
Get
cop,
good.
you can't find it.
Any other questions?
You know, Matt, I just want to say something.
Sure.
My name is Fidel Hamden, and Mr. Larry Moore and I will work for Mr. Beasley. We're going to be the quality engineers on the project. And I'm so glad we came out here today to hear your concerns. I hope something could be done about the wall. I'm going to be on the job site from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. And I would love to, I share your concerns. If there's anything I can help as far as from a safety perspective to having in the morning when you all leave for work and in the afternoon when you're all coming back, if I could just work something out with my contractor to see how we can alleviate traffic somehow and make it better in any way, shape, or form. You know, it's easy to sit by theory and talk about a project before it starts, but usually when you are on the streets, the situation on the street dictates what you need to do. And I know from the beginning, I'm going to be very watchful to the community of Imperial Oaks. I'm going to be working it out with my contractor somehow to make it easy as much as I can and to keep an eye on you all, okay? And I just hope something could be done about the sound wall. I feel for you, and I see what you're saying. And if I lived in Imperial Oaks, I would have the same concerns. And all I want to say that we're here for you, and I hope there's something could be done about the sound wall. And I will do my best Monday through Sunday, from working Saturday, Sunday, to be watchful for Imperial Oaks and see everything that we can do. And I will have my number, my business cards. I will be there the day we do the stretch at Imperial Oaks. You're gonna see me on that street, Monday through Sunday, and I'm gonna be keeping an eye on my contractor, and I'm gonna make sure that I take care of things before it gets to Mr. Beasley. So I'm gonna be honored down the line. Forgive me, I didn't bring business cards today, but
we're contacted through.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So my heart is out for you guys, and I know how you feel.
Just do better than that Woodlands Parkway contractor. Wait, Monet?
Amen to that.
And
I'll find the best
I'm
looking
glad
garbage
to
you
hear
can
you.
find. Put
So-
Christmas lights on it or something.
So, I just have to say this, and I hope something could be worked out with the wall, but, other than that, I'm here for you all too, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have here a letter that we received from the directors of the lab. And it says here that, sorry, that to replace the wooden fence and put a concrete panels instead, has an estimated cost of $140 per linear foot. I don't think that is much.
There's, like I was saying earlier when we were talking about, I don't know what they quoted. I don't know what utilities are in the ground that are there. I don't know if you have to buy an easement to put that in right now the bushes are in the county's right of way. So I don't know if that's gonna have to be reimbursed through right of way cost and get an easement to put the wall up. I don't know any of these things. So that number, while it may be good intention, I wouldn't bank on that number being accurate.
Are you gonna keep the bushes? Yes or no?
The bushes, the county's not gonna take the bushes, and we're gonna talk with the utility contractors. The only way I can see the bushes being removed is if the utility contractors have to go further out towards the bushes.
Because of the drainage that will be put underground that will go.
Because of the storm sewers.
Because those bushes slow down cars too.
Yes, sir.
And what about if you put some big trees, like for example, in the woodlands, there are houses that are right beside Woodlands Parkway, and they have big trees to protect their gardens.
So those trees are in a forest preserve that was dedicated by the developer when they platted the land. So that land is basically forever a preserve for woods, and it's not in the county's right of way.
Yeah, but you can buy some big trees and plant them.
Yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying, but those trees are in the woodlands, or on the woodlands, that's their own land, and they're not in the county right of way on the side, and I don't know if there'll be room to put big pine trees there.
I have another question. If we go the opposite way instead of Imperial fence line, how much does it cost to buy 10 foot or whatever on that side?
Oh, I don't know. I can't. No. So what they do, they appraise the land, and depending on if there's, utilities or whatever in the land, they'll appraise it, they'll make an offer to whoever owns the land, and then the landowner either accepts that offer and we get the land, or it goes to a special commissioner's hearing, and then depending on whatever they argue.
Is the land owned by lots of different people?
They're owned by different property owners. I don't know where you're talking about, if it's just one owner, I don't know. But a lot of times it's these little lots and there's several owners. Like on this project, we've had 62 parcels of land, and most of them are little corners we had to buy.
So that would, if they did, what did you say, Rachel?
2 million.
3 miles and
2,300 on 23, it's 2,200.
Yeah. It was just ballparking. And then what I'm asking is, would that be the same about that same amount to widen it that way? Or are you saying it'd be way more than that?
All I'm saying is that we're widening within the land we already have. So
But it's still costing you, is what I'm saying. Could you take that cost to save money?
Well, see, they're not having to spend that right now.
Yeah,
So
there's a million in the wall.
you're talking about a hypothetical wall that, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think she's talking, she wants us to.
No, this is for the wall.
That's the concrete wall that she was talking about.
The concrete wall was 101 a foot.
140.
140.
How much is a guardrail per foot?
So we can't say whether that's the right number or
Right.
wrong.
Not free.
No, it's not
They
free.
sent us a
It's a
special
number,
letter,
it's a number that
and I
you
received it.
have.
We'll go give free labor. Go put some.
That's real. I mean, really, there's gonna be a difference of $40 a linear foot is what?
that
We're
we're,
gonna fight
the,
for that.
the guardrail, the county, and we get the guardrail for free through the state through a program. And, our,
Oh, okay, 'cause it's.
yeah, our guys can
Yeah,
put the
no, no, no,
guardrails
you-
there.
It doesn't matter whatever questions, no offense that you're asking, and no offense if you want to be with the commissioner, he is not changing his mind. They're set on what's going to be done and they're not changing anything.
But I've seen good things happen through dialogue and getting others involved.
There
And,
aren't enough people calling and complaining.
well, that maybe this is a vehicle for.
Well, when they reach out and if they, when we get this meeting set up and y'all get people, he certainly listens to people. I mean, the one thing that's frustrated me as a person who's dealt with this is that there's been a lot of misinformation and I feel like I only get a few phone calls and a lot of people are just passing around information but they don't call and ask. That's my personal frustration with it. So if they get the audience, they get the meeting, y'all come out, he certainly listens to people. So he's the person that makes the policy decisions. We are the people who implement what he decides, basically.
Starting tomorrow, make this phone calls.
Yes, because he wants to be.
I've
really
already called.
Yeah.
I've called and I understood, so when I called, only one other person called, I didn't leave their name.
I try to call everyone back. I literally make an effort. Sometimes they get into my voicemail inbox and I miss them. Call, I'm there all the time, bother me, say, Matt, why are you not calling me back? I will call you back.
No, I spoke with you, I spoke with the lady, and then she transferred me to somebody named Evans, and then later on, I got a phone call from you.
Where's Ed Chance when we need him? Still retired?
Yes, sir, he is retired.
I was friends with him forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did he let all this happen? No, just kidding.
No,
Just
he's
kidding.
done, he's done.
I'm talking about the planning.
Everything that you see happen, I've been in the Woodlands 35 years, okay? Everything that I've seen as far as roads, everything was out of control before they ever did anything, no matter which Woodlands Parkway or Rayford or anything they've ever done. The traffic was horrendous before anything was ever done.
Yeah.
Just how they seem like they've always been behind on the roads in South Montgomery County, always.
I understand. I haven't been here as long as you have been here since '96.
I mean, the growth has been
It's been pretty remarkable.
doubling every, what, 15
I mean,
years?
just in South County, we've identified $1.6 billion worth of stuff. So, I mean, you're not off the mark. We are behind in our roads and our network.
Oh, yes, of course. Does anybody else need one?
I just have a timeline question.
Of course.
Yeah.
You're starting at the railroad, and that will take about.
Depends.
Okay, so I guess my question is, you're starting at the railroad, and you're gonna complete that part, and then just ease our way down, or we
Well,
gonna?
as we get more and more, things done. So a lot of times these construction crews, they have people that who specialize in more in one area than the other. So when they start to complete one, they'll start the others. And once the others start, like pretty much, we're just widening the road. And that's a pretty standard thing to do. Now building the bridge structure is a little more unique.
Okay, so I live in Spring Forest, so the wild rose that's a big concern for me.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's a 20-month project about, so are we looking at the end of 20 months before the
Wild Rose?
Wild Rose project?
No, we have to do that. We're going to do that.
That's gonna be sooner than later.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Question, can we see the proposal? Is that public information? What is costing to do the whole expansion?
Oh, you mean the actual project contract? Yeah, that's public record.
Is it online?
Yeah, our purchasing department has the whole, basically the whole bid package.
But it's something we can see, we don't need to call and ask for and get a copy of?
I'm not sure, I've never looked, so I don't know if they have it on their website or not, but if they don't, I can get it for you.
Why don't we do this, if this is okay with you, Matt, whoever signed up for getting email updates, I can get that out to everybody,
Yeah, well, if someone wants it, just let me know you want it, and I'll get it to you.
Matthew, would the county or the state have the numbers as far as the number of cars that use the intersection of I-45 and Rayford Sawdust versus the number of cars that use the flyover at the Woodlands Parkway area? Would that be state or county?
That is state.
state.
Yes, sir.
We were looking at a website one night that'll show you in this county where every accident